Hi, I'm James and welcome to today's review and playthrough, which is Hornet Leader II. Now, I owned the first edition by GMT of this, which came out in 1991. I was a big fan of it, and over the years it's got lost in a move or something similar. So when I saw there was a PDF version, I was over the moon because I had seen that the game was back out. However, it was quite expensive, and I couldn't justify paying for it, even though it's a solo game, which is something that I desperately am a fan of. If anybody wants to buy it for me so I can review it, please feel free. You may as well get the plug in. But what I'm actually going to do is talk through this version, which is the PDF version. I'm told that there are some variations. The PDF version doesn't include some of the special rules for what the target is like, if it's dispersed and things like that. I don't know what those rules are like. That's only in the full version. There are variations on the game. In a PDF form you can get expansions for this. You can also get a World War II US carrier one in the Pacific, which does look quite interesting. And to be honest, at the price, it's probably worth a look at. The full boxed ones, there's an Israeli version I think is coming out soon. There's even one featuring the Cthulhu mythos, which I think is a lovely concept, which I'm quite interested in. So there are some nice variations. So the base game comes with 3 campaigns. Now the base campaigns are Libya in 1986, which is what I'm doing here. There's also a mission, or campaign rather, set in 1991, the real life one for the first Gulf War, and also when it was published in 2005, a future version in 2006 featuring a North Korea attack on South Korea. So let's actually have a quick look at the details of this. Now, each of the campaigns comes with 3 versions. You've got a skirmish, a conflict and a war, and they basically affect how many missions you've got to fly. The skirmish I'm flying is 2 days long, and I get 3 special operations points, which are used to purchase certain weapons that weren't very common at that point. They're used even if you then don't actually use them during the game. And it tells you how many victory points you need to achieve. It also tells you any modifications. So in Libya in 1986 there were no SA-15s and no MiG-29s. Okay, that's straightforward. Then we've got some progress charts. Now this is different to your victory points, and it's very clever because the recon, the better your recon, the more target cards you draw. The better your intel, okay, the less sights there are in the target area. The better your radar is, the less bandits there are in the area. And the infrastructure, the number of hits to destroy the target is reduced. So it's quite clever with that. You've also got the main map with the mission numbers on. And these have got different range bands. So in the first range band you only get 1 stress and you can carry a full load, WP weapon points. As you move further away until eventually you're hitting deep into Libya, you're actually talking 3 stress and 3 weapon points less, so you'd only be carrying 5. Hornets carry 8 points. Now it gives you a bit of a background, and you've also got a special rule on this one. Until I move the infrastructure out of the red spaces, I have to select 2 missions each day to fly. Okay, that's fair enough, but pilots can't participate in both missions. Okay, that makes sense. And I lose 2 victory points for each target selected that's not destroyed. So I really need to be looking at least 1 simple mission if I'm getting a complex mission. So that's the setup there. Now you choose your 12 aircraft, and you have to choose the pilots from across a range. You have to have 1 veteran, 2 skilled, 6 average, 2 green and 1 newbie. Now I've set it up ready to go, but you can see they're quite nice cards. You know, I quite like the pictures on them. The first edition used to have cartoons of the pilots. Yeah, that worked for me, but I don't particularly preference either way. And they are double-sided. That one's not been particularly well done. These, because it's a print and play, I've printed them all off and I've laminated them. Generally I've printed them single-sided, but these were worth doing double-sided, which is more fiddly, because what happens is a pilot has got various ratings. You've got obviously their ability, You've then got their cool, and that affects their stress level. That's how much they recover after each mission, and their experience points. Once they get that many experience points, they go up. You flip the card over and you use a better version. And I believe one of the expansions has actually got full set of cards for every pilot all the way through the 5 ratings, which is quite a nice idea. So I mentioned about the stress. They get stress. 0 to 6 this part's okay, 7 to 12 he's shaken. If I'd upgraded him, okay, still the same ratings there. His cool was 1, remains 1. XP 13 needed as opposed to 8. Okay, so but what's the difference? Well, we've got on this one, we've got air to air of +0 +1 vertical. Okay, they're the same. That's interesting. Skilled one seems to be less effective. It's an oddity. And shaken -3 0 -3 -2. Okay, so you can see there. I'm just going to check that, see if it's the same across all. So A to -1 +2 +0 +2. That's an oddity. That I've not noticed that. I'll have to look into that one a bit more now. +1 +1 +2 +1. Yeah, so it's just that one seems to actually deteriorate as it gets better. That's very strange. Okay, I'm guessing they probably got that card the wrong way round. I'll have to look see if there's an errata that mentions that. So you choose your flight of 12, and they're going to be your squadron for the campaign. Now, I've flown 2 missions already, so basically I've completed day 1 of the 2. Now, when I did it, I had each pilot's accumulating stress from how far they're flown, reduced by their cool. Now, Big Red was actually damaged on the previous mission, and as a result, he's actually got 3 stress left. So he actually drops to the shaken line, so he's a lot less effective. So I'm not going to use him on this mission. And then I've got Hammer. Now Hammer was shot down on mission 1, and then there's a roll to see if they're recovered. He was recovered by the search and rescue, but he still accumulated 7 stress points. He's only got a maximum of 4, so he is actually out until his stress level drops to at least 4. So he's actually grounded. I can't use him even if I wanted to. So most of the other pilots are on 1. Cherub, being a very cool guy, he's actually remained on 0 even though he's flown a mission, and I've got 2 pilots so far that are unused. The 2 missions I've done, I've taken out the Armed Forces card, so that's removed from the deck, and each of the campaigns has its own separate deck, which is a subtle change from the previous edition of the game, where there was 1 deck across all of them and you removed certain cards. You get the special option points. I used 1 on the previous mission, and even if I didn't use it, that was then lost. The second mission was an arms factory and I didn't get enough hits, so I lost the 2 victory points it refers to. Okay, what I have done is taken the recon down by 1 and the infrastructure down by 1. So that can now go out of the way. I'm not going to need that until later on. So we'll go through the sequence. And to shorten the video, this is actually take 2. I tried this and it was turning out to be a massively long video, so I'll just talk through some of the sections instead. So we go to our sequence of play, and there's 2 really good little reference cards. The only thing that's actually missing off them is the air to ground penalty for your chance to hit when you're carrying air to ground munitions. So that's something just to be aware of. So what have we got then? We've got the draw the target cards, and I've drawn 3, which is the level I get from that, and because of the special rule I have to choose 2. Now I've got the recon, which is the one I'm going to fly for the video, and I've got the option of an arms factory or a government centre. So I've got to choose one of them. Now that's a 10 aircraft flight. That's going to be difficult with the number of aircraft I've got, so I'm going to put that to one side, and if I put it back to the deck, I'm going to go for the arms factory again. So I'm going to hit the arms factory again this time. So I'll put that to one side. That's my final mission of the campaign. So we've done that. So I now assign the pilots, and I've chosen Whitebread and Cherub, and arm the Hornets. Sorry, missed a step. Determine the sites present. It's a problem when I'm jumping ahead like this. On this one, there is 1 site in each of the approach areas, so I've picked 4 of those, and 2 in the target. So these just come out of a bag. You pick them out at random and put them in. This is what intelligence tells you is there. Note that, because things can change. And we've also got 1 bandit, which we don't actually do yet. So that will come in a later stage. Okay, only 1 over the target. So this is mainly an air to ground mission. So we've got that then. So now what we do is put the Hornets in the area that I want them to go in. And I've just realised that one of the counters is missing, so just bear with me, I'm just going to dig it out. Okay, that was 5 minutes searching to find it. This is one of the downsides of the game. There are a lot of counters. I mean a lot. I actually found I put the counter underneath the other one. So, yeah, not the world's best of a bit of planning on my behalf there. Now, it's worth saying with the print and play version, like I said, there'll be a lot of laminating to do. Now, I've made the counters single-sided, and my logic for that's very simple. It's much easier to laminate them if it's single-sided. You can put the 2 together and just cut them out. Whereas things like, I've done a couple like the aircraft, because they have both a high and a low side. Where I'm just going to flip a counter over like that, then what I've done is I have actually done them double-sided. Same with the cards for the pilots. I didn't bother with the event cards or the target cards because they're just a decorative back. I just kept it simple. So I'm now going to place the Hornets where they're coming in. So how am I going to launch this attack? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, I'm going to take a chance on taking out the SA6. So I'm going to come in low, I think. Doesn't make much difference actually at this point unless anything changes, but that's what I'm going to go for. My loadout, I should have said this when I chose the pilots, is I've got white bread, has got an AGM-65 which is a nice guided missile, and 2 AIM-7s and 4 AIM-9 sidewinders. The Sparrows and the sidewinders are basically there to deal with air threats, and I've got 1 for air to ground. Like I said, the only chart that's missing on these is the chart for the penalty. Now, 2-point penalty, 2 points ground attack means he's actually he's not going to get any reduction. Up to 2 is no reduction to your ability to hit aircraft. And Cherub, now he's going to be taking out the missile sites. He's got 2 AGM-65s, which is a Maverick. That's going to be used to take out missile sites. I could have gone for radar homing, but I've decided just to go for a guided one. We've got 3 sidewinders and a Sparrow, just to play on the off chance. The Sparrow has got a range of 2 instead of a range of 1 with the sidewinder. Both can be used at high and low altitude. They're both 1 weight point, but the difference comes in their ability to hit. 6s and 8s for the Sparrow. So they're going to, sidewinder is better, but it's closer ranged. The AGM-65 has got 2 numbers. It's got 5/10. What that means is 5 inflicts 1 hit, 10 inflicts 2 hits. The sights, if a sight is hit, it's automatically destroyed, same as a bandit. But if I was bombing the target, I need to get multiple hits. They can be quite useful, having multiple hit options. So we've put the Hornets in their approach area, so we draw an event card. What have we got? It's 2 then. Opportunity. If I expend 2 air to ground counters, I can move the infra counter 1 to the right. Oh, that would be useful. However, I've only got 3 air to ground missiles. I'd like it, but I can't justify it. No, it would have been useful, but it's not worth the risk it will run to this mission. And these are the sort of things that you have to consider. The planning phase for this, I find, takes far longer than actually playing the game, but that just might be me obsessing with detail. What I've found is that setting up the aircraft for the mission is vital, and I think this is possibly the most realistic way of simulating I've ever seen. You are choosing your pilots, you're choosing the mission. It really gave me that feel for something like this. It really feels like being a commander during something like the film, or even better, the book, Flight of the Intruder. It's all about your planning. So, okay, we've drawn the sight adjustment card, determined the bandits present. There's one in the centre. Now, I did draw it earlier on, so it was all set and ready to go, and I got no bandits. But I thought, for the purpose of the game, I'm going to keep drawing till I get another one. About half of the counters are no bandits. And I've actually ended up drawing a MiG-21, which is not a particularly effective aircraft, and it's also quite easy to hit, which always helps. So, put the marker in the turn 1 box. So we now move on to the target phase. Now we do this 4 times, and again everything's nicely all in sequence. And I have just spotted the air to ground waypoints. I take it back, it is on there. Why did I miss that earlier on? So we now come to the jettison decision. Do I want to jettison any bombs? No, I'm quite happy with that. So fast pilots attack, and pilots have got their speed there. Now mine are both slow, so they don't get to act. So sights and bandits attack. Now the only one that could get an attack in is the SA6. He's got 2 viable targets, white bread and cherub. So we'll roll 1 to 5 white bread, 6 to 10 cherub. So it's going for cherub. Now I'm going to give cherub. Cherub's got a chance to either evade or to suppress the target. Now I'm actually going to go for an evasion. Now evasion's got a downside in that it gives you a stress point, but what you do is you then roll to hit twice and you can choose which result. Alternatively, I could have tried to suppress where I attack as normal, so if I had something that could attack, and if I get a hit the attack is cancelled but it doesn't take damage. I really want to keep hold of the missiles. I really think they're worth holding on to for the purpose of this. Okay. In fact, apologies, I should have drawn the next target over the target card. Ooh, support. Remove 1 sight counter of my choice from the target area. Well, that's the SA-13 removed. That was a big threat. That's going to make my life a lot easier. I think we might have a chance now. So we get the attack from the SA-6. So it rolls twice because I've decided to evade, and I get a 9 and a 9. So the evasion didn't do any good, and this is going to be bad news for me. Because when you look at it, it's got 3 ratings, 3, 8, 10. And what that means is, the first number, that causes a stress token. Second one is damage, third one is shot down. So I've got 2 damage options. So it's not going to make any difference which one I choose. So straight away, I get 2 stress points. And I then have to lose all my munitions, and that's really going to mess up my attack plan. That wasn't good news. So I'm now on the firing, so it's my turn to fire. So I've got Cherub's now only got his gun, which is built into the aircraft. That can't do anything. So I've got Cherub, and I'm going to fire at the SA-6 site. So I'm going to use the 1 missile I've got. So it's 5-10. I've got no modifier on there, so I need to roll 5 or more to take that out. 5. Now some of them do have modifiers. The Shulker there's got a +1, so I would add 1 to the roll, but this is a 0, but it's enough to destroy it. This is going to give me at least a chance. So once we've done that, we then move and adjust altitude. Decisions. I've got to spend 2 turns in the area. I haven't got time to mess around, so I'm going to have to move in. I'm going to keep myself low. That way there's nothing can actually shoot me. If I stay low, unless I go into the approach areas now, I'm safe. So I'm going to stay low. But the bad news is the bandits move, so the MiG closes in on me. Okay, so that's the end of turn 1, so we advance the turn marker. So we're now looking at turn 2. So we go through the same sequence. The jettison decision, I'm not going to jettison anything. Fast pilots attack, I've got no fast pilots. So we now get the enemy attacks. We've got the MiG, 1 to 5 it shoots at white bread, so 6 to 10 it shoots at cherub. It shoots at cherub. They obviously don't like cherub. And I could try and shoot them down with a gun. I'd need a 9, but I think what I'm going to do instead is take another stress token and roll twice. So we get a 1 and a 2. Okay, I could have got away with doing either there, so that doesn't make any difference. So it's now the slow pilot's attack, and I'm going to volley off 2 sidewinders against the MiG. Now you make the decision aircraft by aircraft, so you could actually decide to attack first with cherub with the gun and then go to that. In fact, I'll do that actually. I'll use cherub's gun. Now it's got a hit of 10. He's got an air-to-air modifier of 1, so you can actually see a modifier in use. So I need a 9 down to an 8 because of the MiG's ability. So he didn't hit with the gun. Would have been nice if he had. So 2 missiles, both attack 6. No modifier for skill, but a modifier for the MiG. So I need a 5, a 1, and a 1. This is not a good mission. So Hornets move and adjust altitude, keeping low. I'm going to scream into the target area, and the MiG will follow on, and that's the end of the turn. So I've now got 1 turn in the target area. So we're on to the next turn. Jettison decision, I'm not jettisoning. Fast pilots attack, we haven't got any. Sights and bandits attack, so there's no sights can attack. We're on to the MiG, 1 to 5 it's white bread. He's going for white bread this time. So what I'm actually going to do, I think, is I'm actually going to fire a missile to try and stop it. So I now need a 6 down to a 5 because of the MiG's ability. So if I roll 5 or more, the attack gets cancelled. 8, so the attack's cancelled. At least now you've seen suppression and evasion. Okay, so it's now time for slow pilots to attack, and I am going to shoot at the MiG, and I'm going to use both the M7s. I think 2 chances at 7 would be a good option. So let's have a look. An 8, so we've taken down the MiG. Okay. So there's no movement. I want to stay in the target area for that second turn. There's no bandits, so we advance the turn marker. So I've now got my 2 rounds in the target area, so it's now time to get out of here. So all that we've got is the movement, and because it's turn 4 I have to move out into of the target area. So I'm now moving out, nothing can shoot at me, so that's the actual tactical part of the mission done. Over the target, so I've now got the homebound flight, and I'm now getting quite worried because I'm down to 1 missile and cannon, and cherub's in a bit of a state. So let's see what happens on the way out. So we use the egress. Difficulty aerial refueling. Each of your pilots that participate in this mission gain another stress. Okay, so they do that. Okay, at this point, if anybody had been shot down, then I would roll for the results of that. So we now get to the debriefing. So let's get my pilot log. So it said on the card that if I destroyed it, I get 1 victory point, and I get 1 point of intel. So the intel moves across, which means on the next mission there is 1 less sight in the target area. Okay, and it was mission 4, which is now removed from the game because I've done the recon. So white bread and cherub, both flying in a stress 1 area. So they both get 1 stress point. Whitebread's got another 1, but he's got a cool of 2, so he actually doesn't go down. So his cool remains 0. That's quite useful if this campaign was carrying on. Cherub, on the other hand, he's got a total of 6 stress, 5 from markers and 1 from where the area is. And he's got a cool also of 2, so he gains 4 stress. He's got 0 at the minute, so he is now on 4. Now normally I'd be taking the others down, but that's only going to happen at the end of the day. So, okay, Cherub is now on 4 stress, so we'll drop to the shaken. So his air to air drops from +1 to -1, and his air to ground from 0 to -2. So he definitely wouldn't be one that I would really want to keep using. And I get some experience points. Now you normally get 1 experience point each time you fly a mission. If we destroyed the target and no Hornets were destroyed, we gain an extra experience point. So there's 2 points to Whitebread. That's his first mission, giving him 2. And Cherub also gets 2. He's got 1 already, so he's up to a 3. Once he gets up to 7, we would flip the card over and use his advanced side. So that's a quick run through of the mission. Like I said, the setup for the mission took me far longer than it actually did to fly the mission, which, to be honest, I think is pretty realistic. I love the game. I think it's brilliant. It's hard to win. At the minute, I'm on 1 victory point, which is currently telling me I'm doing poorly. If I get the arms factory, which is worth 3 victory points, I will at least go up to adequate. So it's all coming down to that last mission of the campaign. I've still got those 2 special weapon points that I can use that are going to help me. I'm going to take 2 quite powerful weapons using that. I hope you found that useful. Let me know what you think in the comments, and hopefully we'll see you soon for another review.